and that concentration caused very severe brain injury in her child. And then low glutathione. We talked some about how that is important. Once there's inflammation in the brain, now we talked, some of you've heard me say about the blood-brain barrier. Anytime you've had an incident to the brain, you have what opens the blood-brain barrier, and that does not close by itself. And in research we'll find, and we have found, that there's always like 5, 10, 15% of that blood-brain barrier that's really functioning. You need it about 60, 70, or 80% functioning to be able to stop getting smells bother you, people bother you, sounds bother you. You're tired easily, you get sick easily, you have a blood-brain barrier issue going on. People that can't drink the water. You have people that you know that can't drink the water right away. They have a blood-brain barrier. Don't just jam it down them, and don't ever, ever give anybody 9.5, because you have no idea. If they have a blood-brain barrier opening, you can throw them into a very severe detox, and they will never talk to you again. Because that is your protection. And so when you have things like autism and Alzheimer's and attention deficit and diabetes and autoimmune and trauma and exposure to toxic chemicals and infections, you definitely have a blood-brain barrier opening. And we have a special little trick that we use with an essential oil from Ecuador called copaiba that will just put above the ears, and it will instantly start an energetic closure of that blood-brain barrier. And if you do it over time, it starts to give the body that stimulation to the nervous system and to heal it. Antioxidants reduce brain inflammation. We want that. And we have the most potent. Who wants to take pills all day long? Who wants to take those expensive antioxidant drinks all day long? We just use water. How simple can that be? And you know that we want the negative ORP between 300 and 800, because that's going to give us more voltage. The more voltage you have, the more power you have in the body to heal itself. I had a cool example. My sister had a brain surgery last October, and I was not able to have free access to her, but I was allowed into her intensive care on about the second day, and her blood pressure was so high they wouldn't let her out of intensive care. And I had my bag there with a lot of my water in it. And I said, oh my goodness, you don't even have a glass here. Where's your water? And, you know, I said to the nurse who's in the window behind me watching everything I'm doing, where's your glass? And he's over there, you know. So I went. So we found a glass, filled it, and watched the monitor. I wished I'd had a video of it. If I'd have known, I'd have done it. And one glass. Now, she was like 5% hydrated at that point, because she hadn't had water for almost 18 hours. And can you imagine? Brain surgery, and they don't give them water? Oh, my goodness. So, well, it was more than that, because she was in there a day already. I was the second day. So it was quite amazing. So I gave her this glass of 9.5. She was already drinking the water some. She hasn't gotten it here yet totally. But that monitor jumped 20 points down. It was amazing. And I just thought, wow, I've heard that story of how it lowers the blood pressure and how it lowers, and there I saw it right before my very eyes. And you know that she stayed. I gave her about 8 glasses. I lined them up and I said, you be sure and drink these. And that's all they gave her. I wasn't allowed to give her any more. And do you know that she stayed to about 50% hydrated through the next day? That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Alkaline water is that best antioxidant and that free radical scavenger. And we all know the chart on how the pH works. And we know that the brain needs oxygen, needs to be alkaline, and we need that water of alkaline ionized water because it carries acid. I have a series that I've done on Your Brain on Water. And we also have the science and practice of electrolyzed reduced water. And in there I give you the research studies. It's now on video. It's brand new for you. But we have all this available for you to show you the research. Depression, anxiety, anorexia, ADD, they're all related to acidosis and inflammation and free radicals. It's in the research, folks. It's not something we have to make up. It's the most important nutrient in the brain, and it's going to raise that oxygen in the body and in the brain. It contains more oxygen. And the pH increases, so does the predominance of the hydroxyl or the negative ions, and that's what we want. And drinking it gives us that oxygen, and once it's inside the body, we're going to get more of those negative ions, and we're going to get more of the negative hydrogen ions. This is what we want. And the higher the pH, the more the negative hydrogen, the more negative hydrogen. You know what hydrogen is. You know what a bomb is, right? That's a lot of energy going. Okay, so the higher the pH, the lower, or you could say, the more negative, that we want those negative ions, so we're going to get more powerful negative ions the higher the pH is. We're going to get DNA repair. The research shows that alkaline ionized water can protect and it prevents DNA damage. We're getting exposed to chemicals every day. There's chemicals in this room. There's EMF. That is producing a lot of free radicals. Alkaline water can protect from the toxic effects of free radicals which cause the DNA damage. We're getting more babies born now today than ever with DNA damage. And they go, well, it's just genetic. We don't know where it came from, right? You've heard of it. I go, where does it come? And yes, DNA damage can be restored and repaired because you're making new cells every day and you can reprogram those cells. Absolutely. Here's a young man that came to us, and his father's whole goal in life was to just give him a good life and just to provide for him. But they found us and they brought him to the program, and he came and he'd walk like this. So we did hours and hours of reflex work and hours of work to reestablish connections in that brain. And he became very, very excited about getting his brain back. And you know, he came about 2 or 3 times to it. Now, this young man, he walks with authority. He walks with confidence. He can speak to you like a normal person. He has a job. He has a car. He has a girlfriend. He's gone on trips overseas. He's in college. And he has a life. And wow. Why is this alkaline ionized microclustered water so important? Because we make them work hard. And the staff works hard too. We all are needing the water, so we drink it. We need good sleep. You get good sleep when you drink the kind of water we have. Many participants are low in energy, or they're all severely dehydrated. Everybody comes in dehydrated. One of the reasons is because of the flying, but another reason is that's just their style of life. They don't really think about water. Most of them have never even experienced the oxygenized, energized water. And we know that the brain needs 80% water. It's full of water. We've got to hydrate the brain. This was a young man that came with OCD, very severe. And he had significant changes. And here's some of the intense therapies we do. They're actually kind of fun for the people. They'll do work on the ball. They'll do crawling. Here's a gal that was paralyzed. You're going to see her in a minute, who actually was able to get down on the floor and crawl. This is another gal that came to us with Asperger's. She was severe. She had never run in her life. She was able to run about the 2 blocks from the clinic to where we feed them. And she had so much energy that she would go back to the clinic at night and continue to do exercises so that she could speed up her healing. It was like she woke up. Her parents also brought her a couple times, and she made spectacular improvement. What are the signs of dehydration? They're your and my signs too. When you get fatigued, when I lose a thought, I go, oh, water. Get that water in you. Now, I didn't lose that thought, but you want that water. That's your sign that you've got some brain fog. When you get angry too easily, or you get upset, or you have mood swings or pain, when you start to get premature aging, you've got a problem with hydration. When your skin starts to wrinkle, you know, you can put the 560 water on it, and it's beauty water, and it will stimulate your skin. Your skin is an organ. It's alive. It needs to be refreshed and hydrated. When you have memory loss and high blood pressure, these are very easy. These are very simple things that nature giving us a warning. Nature's giving us a blessing of all these signs, and we know how to fix it. Brain injury and dehydration. The literature is a plethora of how these problems, OCD, autism, People with being on addicts, brain injured, they drink little or no water. That's just a part of their life. It's like they're kind of like brain dead. And so we have to wake up that brain. We want to accentuate their ability to think and to function. And so many of these people have never even drunk water. And they have chronic dehydration, means we have to really push the water. Sometimes we do little contests to help them to get the water. And to make matters worse, most of the people are drinking things that are substitutes for water that have chemicals in them, making more issues in their life.